Hey everyone, welcome to Jano's Thoughts Expressed by AI. So recently I was asked by someone close to me, why do I feel uneasy? And I think this is something that most of us are experiencing right now, and I'd really love to hear your thoughts below if you think I've missed anything. Also, please don't be put off by the AI. While the narration and images are AI generated, the thoughts and script are my own. Here are 8 points I've identified. Let's go. So my first point is global uncertainty. Pandemics, global tensions, wars, economic crises, and the list goes on. It all just feels like too much, and it is too much. We are definitely experiencing a pivotal time in our history, similar to other times in history, and our brains are great at seeing patterns. However, our brains are not used to processing so many unknowns at the same time. This leaves us feeling uncertain and uneasy without really being able to understand why. Point 2 is social media. Now, social media has connected us closer than ever before. However, it can also reinforce the negative, as it's a double-edged sword. The algorithms seek engagement, and we tend to spend more time on issues that concern us. The more we worry, the more it pushes out posts of reinforcing our unease. This is called a feedback loop. So naturally, this means that bad news and fear-based content tends to spread faster. It's also created this comparison culture where people compare themselves to others in the curation of lifestyles and perfection, which can lead to jealousy, envy, and inadequacy. And of course, there is the issue of fake news and misinformation and overexposure, leading to decreased attention spans and the potential of losing our empathetic and critical thinking capabilities. Also factor in things like bullying, exploitative and fraudulent users, platform themselves seeming to have agendas, and the general degradation of the internet as platforms seek profit over quality content. Point 3 is climate change. With climate extremes becoming the new normal, it's really hard to ignore. Whether it's floods in Pakistan where thousands of lives are lost and millions are displaced, heat waves in Europe where people are dying from the heat, droughts and wildfires in the US, China and Greece, hurricanes in Puerto Rico, or extreme storms and flooding in Australia and New Zealand, you can't escape the reality when you see the pictures and videos of environmental degradation, suffering animals and ecosystems, and humans suffering because of it. And you can't escape the fact that humans are still continuing to extract more natural resources to keep up with the demand of a growing population and a consumer-driven economy. Point number 4 is economic pressures. It's impossible to escape the headlines around cost of living costs rising, mortgage crises, interest rates, inflation, job insecurities, and growing economic disparities. These things affect all of us either directly or indirectly, and it creates a level of stress about the financial future. Capitalism seems to be running unchecked, out of control. Profits are being put before what's right, before the health and well-being of people. 5. The political climate. Politics and differing opinions have always been around, but it feels like the playing field has become more muddied and the landscape feels more polarized and volatile. There seems to be more extremist views and less common ground. Sharing opinions can divide friends and family. No one is listening. Everyone is just shouting and posturing and feeling entrenched. Policy seems to be less about creating a place for us to live freely and provide us with tools to succeed, and more about controlling us and pandering to commercial concerns. The old axiom, politicians always lie, has never seemed so true. The 6th point is our own expectations. We tend to put huge amounts of pressure on ourselves. Unrealistic expectations, whether it's financially, professionally, aesthetically, or relationally. We tend to compare ourselves to others and the curated versions of their lives on social media. We often feel inadequate and fall short of our own expectations and the expectations of those around us, and we strive for perfection, but it's an unattainable standard which leads to stress, anxiety, and burnout. Point 7, trust. We don't know who or what to trust anymore. It seems like the media can't be relied on to be unbiased, and truth often gets watered down or lost completely. Even institutions that we once trusted seem to have alternative agendas and be spreading misinformation and propaganda. And it makes it difficult to know what's true and what's false, and where to get accurate information, or even know who to turn to. And lastly, point 8, technology. We are currently experiencing a period of great change. Automation has been putting people out of work for over 2 decades now, and we're losing skilled workers. So, many jobs that were once needed are now obsolete. Now AI is seemingly doing the same. It's difficult to see where the future will take us. This creates fear of the unknown and worries about the future. The future for us individually, for our families, and for all of humanity. This is a topic that could go on forever. I could add so many more pressures like education, loss of freedoms, overregulation, and so much more. There's so many different angles and factors to consider. It's inevitable that we will feel uneasy and anxious from time to time. However, there are ways to help ease these feelings. I am going to leave that to a later video, as I want to do this topic justice and give it the time it deserves. But I'll touch briefly on a few things here. Firstly, understanding the root cause is important. As we've discussed, it can be external forces, but they can also be internal. It's important to look inwards and understand our own thoughts. Beliefs and perceptions are what creates our reality. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and powerless against the backdrop of global uncertainty and turbulence, but it's important to remember that we do have control over our own thoughts and actions. By understanding that our feeds are biased or even plain wrong, we take back control of what we believe to be true. Remember to fact-check sensationalist claims and purposefully search for alternative points of view so we can be as informed as possible. Then we can cultivate a sense of peace and resilience in the face of adversity. Next, it's important to limit our exposure to negative news and social media consumption. This doesn't necessarily mean turning off our devices. Small steps like disabling notifications for a time, noticing when we are in a feedback loop and searching for a new topic or alternate view. Taking breaks from social media and seeking out positive and uplifting content can help shift our focus away from the negativity. And every once in a while, instead of sending a message, go and speak to the recipient directly. This is not a waste of time. The message might be more efficient, but the human contact is important. Whether it is going to see friends or family, or even just speaking to a colleague instead of emailing or texting, will help you feel more connected to the real world. Finally, and in a similar vein, connecting with others and building a support system is essential. Talking to friends, family, or a therapist about our feelings can help process them and develop coping mechanisms. Engage in activities. Going out for a coffee or a movie with our partner or bestie brings us joy and new experiences that can't be gotten online, and practicing self-care can also help us stay grounded and centered. Overall, while it's natural to feel uneasy in times of uncertainty, it's important to remember that we have the power to choose our attitude and actions. By cultivating a mindset of gratitude, practicing self-care, and connecting with others, we can find peace and resilience even in the midst of chaos. So to answer the question of why do we feel uneasy? The simple answer is because we have good reason to. Life is more complicated and full of ups and downs than ever before, and we are all just trying to find our way through it the best we can. It is important to remember that we are not alone in this, and that there are people who care about us and want to help. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please stay tuned for more videos coming soon, where we'll be doing a deeper dive of the above points and solutions to how he can feel better. See you in the next video. Bye.